So let's try this again. Hey, I was earlier, I tried to do just a stream on Facebook through my Darker Paranormal page, complete failure. So I'm going to start over again for those of you that maybe didn't catch the beginning of it. First off, I just want to thank Laura Nichols Wise for purchasing my book In Too Deep. I said this, I think a couple days ago, I talked about this. She'd purchased the book. Today, I actually got a message from her, and she was thrilled with the book. She said that obviously she said there's a lot more there that I barely touched, and she's right. I barely scratched the surface of the Stagecoach Inn. Unfortunately, I'll never go back there, and she agrees that I shouldn't. She says that place wants me back. She says, but it no good for you, and I totally agree with her. It is no good for me. This is the hardback version. These come in hardback. I also still have a few of the original book, Ghosts and Legends Stagecoach Inn, which is just a redo of the book. I got a few copies of those. I will be selling those at some point along the way. Now, with that out of the way, most of you know that maybe you do, I don't know. I've been making some kind of cryptic posts about an investigation I'm going to do in April. Earlier I had made the statement that I was getting back to my roots and going to try to investigate something like the Stagecoach Inn, someplace that nobody's ever been to before. Nobody's ever even considered it to be haunted. Um, Robert from Ghost Gear called me the other day, and he said, "Hey," he says, "do you know anybody that's an investigator in such and such state?" And I said, "No, I don't. Why? What's going on?" He says, "Well," he says, I know these people, and they buy houses, and they flip them." And they have one individual that does all this work. He works and renovates the houses, and he's done it for them for many years and never had a single issue until now. And I guess there's some pretty crazy things going on, and they would like it investigated. And I said, "Well, Robert, we don't need to look for a place or a team in this location. I'll come and do it. If you don't mind going with me." So we're going to do a ride share. It's going to be probably a 10.5 hour drive. We'll split the driving. We can stay there on the property. I can tell you this: there is adjacent houses related to this property on that property that we can stay at, that are livable, that can be slept in and has running water, electricity, and all that kind of good stuff. But we're finding a lot of things out. This guy, he found clothing in the walls of this place, and of course, immediately, as you might know, that set me back to the Stagecoach Inn. As you well know, if you've read the book, I'll give you a little tidbit information on renovation of the Stagecoach Inn. They found articles of clothing, one of which was shoes and coins in the walls of the Stagecoach Inn. Back in the 1800s, they did these kind of rituals to keep evil out. Well, this house that we're going to look at is built in 1901. So it doesn't really line up with the timeline too well, but it still gave me the idea that maybe somebody was familiar with these kind of ceremonies and was keeping out some kind of evil. Take in mind this entire area was inhabited by Native Americans. And I won't say what tribe, but not yet. But it was inhabited, which could mean burial grounds, kind of like the burial grounds there at the Stagecoach Inn with the burial tree. Well, I just found out that it wasn't just a couple items like at the Stagecoach Inn. This was armfuls of clothing. Now, take in mind again, this place is not in a cold environment where they would want to use articles of clothing to keep a place warm. This place served as a halfway house at one point in its history. Now, my mind, as it works, shot directly into San Francisco, California, or thereabouts, back in 1980s when that Black Widow lady or whatever her name was, who was taking in basically people that were on Social Security, and killing them and taking their Social Security check. So was this halfway house? Now again, we got to get more history on it. We're going to have a meeting with the historical society members who are going to give us some more information about this location. But were some people that were maybe handicapped in some way were being taken care of, and again, were coming up missing, being buried in the backyard, and all their clothes were being disposed of in the walls. I don't know. Um, it's just one of those really crazy spins. I can also tell you this, and of course, this area is so vast, and this what I'm going to clue you into is so vast. You still can't put your finger on where I'm talking about, but there's cave systems everywhere, and this house is directly over some of these cave systems, and that could be, running water, moving water can lead to a lot of paranormal type activity that this gentleman that is renovating this house is experiencing, along with maybe Native American burial grounds. There was also, again, without putting my finger directly on it, Civil War battles fought directly on the property of this location. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. Now, I am just the opposite of a lot of paranormal investigators, where I'm hoping that I catch some activity. I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I hope there's nothing there because it's really hard to get rid of if that's the case. And they really don't want anything there. But then again, Robert is trying to, he says, you could make a little bit of money if, we find something there. And well, I said, Robert, let's hope there's not. But Robert's going to take all of his ghost gear stuff down there. I'm going to take my 40 years of knowledge down there, and we're going to try to figure out whether or not this place is haunted or not. All I can tell you is this. When Robert told me about this location, I said, that area, and we'll just call it, what it is, 400-mile square area. And that can go either way of a border, north, south, east, or west. Was known to have witches. Okay, I'm going to give you that much. And there were thought to be a witch, and was buried possibly nearby. There's also a huge reservoir that was supposedly cursed nearby. And well, without getting into too much detail, maybe shirt tail relatives. There's some historical figures that we've all read about in school that are still associated with this town, this location, this state. So it's going to be full of adventure. And I spent 3 days at the Stagecoach Inn. I didn't spend them there. Of course, obviously, I went home at night when I got done, and I'd come back the following evening and investigate. This place, I'm going to investigate for 7 days straight, and I'm not leaving it. I'm going to stay there and intrude on whatever space is there. I'm going to have these cameras, and the ones I have. I have the Canons. I have all the good audio equipment, all the good IR equipment. I have all of Robert's ghost gear. It's going to be constantly running for those hours that we're going to be there. I'm going to have enough of my capture cards on these cameras that I'll be able to record what is 7 days. It's over 70 some hours, 80 hours, over 80 hours of video. 100 hours. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of video that these cameras are going to be running. I'm going to be hopefully get sent the blueprint, the layout of the house. I'm a hunter by trade. My roots, I love hunting deer. I used to hunt deer a lot. I used to hunt all the time. It's in my blood. It really truly is. And when I come into this location, I am going to treat it like a hunt. When you deer hunt, and a lot of people can relate to this, people that do deer hunt, you try to place yourself in between a bedding area and a food plot, somewhere in between there, because that's where the big bucks move all the time. They're going to go to bed at night and they're going to eat in the morning and the afternoon. And you get does that come through there as well. So I'm going to figure out the lay of this building, this structure, and I'm going to figure out where the main place that you should always focus on is what? It's the kitchen. The kitchen in any location is the place that you need to focus on, because that's where the most conversations are held in any house. Think about it. Where is most conversations taking place about finances, about problems, about whatever? It's the kitchen. It's always been in the kitchen. Very seldom people have the Leave It to Beaver type scenario where dad had a den where he scolded the kids. It was always the kitchen. Look at the Christmas Story and you shoot your eye out. All the conversations happen in the kitchen. So that's where the camera is going to be placed. It's going to be placed someplace between the living room and the kitchen to capture any kind of activity that would be moving back and forth through there. Also on the second floor, shooting probably down the hallways to the bathroom. That's another area where people would be walking back and forth. So if there is a residual type activity there, hopefully these cameras will capture it, and I can capture it in a manner that I would do it if I was hunting deer. I would use their habits of when they existed on this plane to try to capture whatever activity might be there. So anyway, that's what's been going on with me. We're going to be going down in April, probably the end of April. I'm going to be spending 7 days. I'm taking 2 weeks off from work. That'll give me some time to come back, decompress, go over a lot of the video evidence, and hopefully, if I find anything, I can present it here. If it turns out to be what it's made out to be, I've already started writing a lot of notes down. And this is what I use when I write a book. I write notes down. I'm already starting to write about this particular journey. If it turns out to be a haunted location, all the better for me. I can write something about it. Let me see. We got some comments. I got 7 comments in here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to just ignore you. I get on a roll and I like to talk. So let's see. Oh, we got Colette. Of course. Hi, Colette. Hi. That's she says, it's a great book, In Too Deep. Love reading it. Hi, Angelina. I'm glad you're in here. Let me see. Nope, it's not in Illinois. It's not there. No. Hi, Pam is selling hi to Colette. Oh, by the way, Colette, thanks for the Christmas card. That was very nice. We meant to get back with you on that. I actually got a Christmas card from one of my number one fans, Colette, obviously. Water as well conducts energy. Yeah. Angelina says, yes, the kitchen is always the heart of the house. It is. And that's what I've been trying to explain. The kitchen is the heart of the house. That's where things are made. That's where discussions happen. That's where kids get scolded. It's everything about our lives occurs in the kitchen from the time we get up until we go to bed. That's where the coffee's made. That's where supper's usually. I don't know. People still eat dinner in their kitchen area, the kitchen table. Me and Pam, I personally, I don't even use a TV tray. I set a plate on my chest and I kick back in the recliner and I watch TV. But the kitchen's right there. I mean, we're never far away, and that's why I chose it, when I go to this place to set the cameras up. There is, in fact, another thing. I don't know if I've touched on this or not, but there's possibly a legend of a witch involved here. Now, this is a huge area I'm referring to. Thousands and thousands and thousands of acres. It borders several states. You may know of this witch, and it's not in close proximity. Okay, it's not, but it's close enough that you know how panic can ensue when people hear about things that happen someplace in their mind nearby or in another state. They talk about witches. The Blair Witch location is still about probably I'm going to guess an 8 hour drive, maybe 6 hour drive from this place, and there's possibly this location I'm referring to has witch ties to it. Whether it does or not, I don't know. Um, Robert filled me in on a lot of it. He was able to get on the computer today. Unlike me, I got to work all day long at Ace Hardware. He works from home, and so he takes little breaks, and he gets on the internet and he starts doing searches, and he's finding out all kinds of stuff. Nope, not Massachusetts. Sorry, it's not there. Um, Good call. Good call. But I will let everybody know either on my way down or when I get there. And believe me, I am excited. I really want to tell everybody where I'm going, but I'm not going to. It's not going to be, uh, I might do some live streams from there, but it's not going to be like a spirit realm type production. I'm not going to make a production out of this. This is the initial investigation, like the Stagecoach Inn was. I'm going to go there and just see if there is paranormal activity, because right now there's no proof of anything. It's one guy that is having some difficulties. It's never had difficulties before, who's a little leery about going into this place. Okay, and it's a renovation, and it was built in 1901, so it's got some age to it, and it's had a lot of owners, and it's on. Well, there's a lot of native ground around there. So there's a lot of things that are tied to this place that make it, they give it all the right ingredients for possibly having, no, not Missouri, that possibly has, paranormal ties to it. And if you do guess, if it's not Missouri, but I will say this: if you do guess what it is, I'm going to say no, it's not there. I'm not going to say anything until I actually go there. But no, this will not be a spirit realm event. I know Jim Martin wants to be a part of this, and believe me, maybe someday he'll come along. But this is going to be a Dark Rivers thing. This is what I do. This is where my roots are. This is how it all started with the Stagecoach Inn. Going to a place that nobody knew anything about it other than, it was just an old stagecoach stop. And it wasn't until I started digging did I find that it was more than a stagecoach stop. And that's what this place may end up to be. Or it may end up being nothing. Nothing at all. It might just be a wasted trip, and I'm just going to have 2 weeks of vacation coming to me, and I'm going to hang around the house and do whatever. Let me see. Colette says, witches were known as wise women. They were like the district nurses of today. Huh, I didn't know that. What letters does the state begin? Go from there. Oh, let me see. I can't do that. I can't tell you what letter. Um, then you might know, and I just can't risk that right now. Um, it's going to be a secret. Sorry. But it's going to be very cool when it happens. And I felt like I needed to come on here and just tell everybody a little bit about what I was doing. Uh, Besides that, I guess it's nice doing exposure, get a little exposure on Facebook. My ratings on my Dark River Paranormal page have just skyrocketed thanks to you guys. Nothing that I've done. It's thanks to you. Thanks to people that like to follow me, that like to hear what I have to ramble about. It's all about you guys that are making this page really successful. It's actually more successful than my Paranormal Nation page ever was. Um, I'm going to be in the next week, I think, bringing on uh, God, I can't think of his name. Father Ruben Lopez of the Catholic Church. And we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff that I've been talking about in little conversations, little what ifs and stuff that I've been putting on Facebook. And one of those what ifs was, if I recall, whether or not if Bigfoot was real, if he or she was real, would they have a soul? And one of the conversations that I had with Father Ruben Lopez was, if it's a bipedal creature like an ape, it does not have a soul. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation. He's going to be talking a lot about the demonic. He's going to be talking a lot about people that want to get their how you put it, their degree in demonic type stuff, demonology on the internet, where you can go on the internet and you can become a demonologist. He doesn't care for that at all. He thinks that's dangerous as all get out. He has a lot to say. Oh boy, does he have a lot to say about that. Very intelligent man. Let me see. Angelina says, "Oh, bummer." It's all good, Ellen. Thank you. I'm glad you gave me that pass. Angelina's been with me for a long time. She's bought my books and very, just a great follower. Love her, great person, as well as Colette. Colette's a great follower. Oh yes, I'm looking forward to the interview with the priest. Yeah, I am too. I don't know where it's going to go. And the thing is, when I talk to Father Ruben, even when I talk to him on the phone, I can barely get a word in edgewise. So once I get my introduction to Father Ruben Lopez, I you'll probably just see me just nodding my head a lot, because the guy has a ton to say about the paranormal and demonic entities, and he anything that's in this plane, according to him, anything. If you think it's your great grandmother, it's not. To him, it's a demon and it needs to be sent back to hell. Period. End of story. End of conversation. You either, when you die, according to the Catholic Church, you go to one or two places, heaven or hell. Period. And that's what's going to make this conversation, I think, so compelling and engaging for everybody that comes in and wants to listen to what he has to say. So, hey, I'm going to call it a night, I guess. Get your book, please. You can go to Amazon and get a copy of In Too Deep. I'm trying to come up, as soon as my second book comes out, I'm going to try to come up with a threesome type book set. I'm going to have the original Ghost Legend Stagecoach Inn. I'm going to have the redo with In Too Deep, and then I'm going to have In Conflict, and you can get all three for a great price. At least that's my plan. The thing is, there's only like, I'm thinking I have maybe 12 of these that are in existence that have been completely unsigned. They're rare. If you got one, hang on to it, because I don't make them anymore. You can go to Amazon, you can find it on there, but it says no longer in publication. This book is no longer in publication. This book is, as well as hopefully here pretty soon In Conflict. So you can get that at Amazon, or you could message me at Dark River Paranormal at outlook.com. That's my website. Or you can message me here directly on the Dark River Paranormal page. And I have one of those squares. I don't use PayPal. We'll just have a phone conversation. We can have a nice conversation on the phone. I can get your debit or credit card information right over the phone. I can send you, you can pay for the book there. You can tell me how you want it signed, how you want me to initialize it for you, and I'd love having conversations with people about the paranormal and about my book. And well, I sound like a narcissist. Obviously, I'm not going to talk totally about my book. Talk about you as well. Let me see one more time. Yeah, I know. Colette, she does not believe in the demonic. It's out there, according to Father Ruben Lopez. If you believe in evil, you got to believe that it's demonic. Angelina says they are, Colette. Okay, we're getting a little cat fight here. Okay, we're into the science, etc. Colette, what you have to say? If you read the book, What is a Ghost by Richard Flex, you might just change your mind. I don't get that. You know, it's all theories. Even if somebody else reads or writes a book about a ghost, just like my book, Ghost of Legend Stagecoach Inn. At the end of this book, how did I end it? I ended it with you decide. I'm not shoving it down anybody's throat. It's a nonfiction book that's actually happened to me. But it was just written by a guy. We got this thing called a Bible, biblical text, and it lays out everything about our world, about our history, about where we come from. It doesn't say a lot of what other people are saying in today's world about what ghosts are made of. What are they made of? We don't know. So it's all theory, it's all conjecture on what ghosts are and what they're made of and who they are, what they are. We don't know what they are. Not really. We probably won't know until we're dead. I've said that 100,000 times now. We won't know anything until we're dead. It doesn't matter if you're a historian or not. It doesn't matter. We can say, well, it's in history. Well, where did they get their information from? And that's where the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round. These are questions that will someday be answered when we leave this plane ourselves. That's the way I look at it. I don't have the answers. I'd be the first one to admit it. I don't know. I know one thing. I know that there's a heaven and there's a hell. That's what I know. Whether somebody else wants to believe it that way, that's up to them. And I don't condemn them for that. Everybody has their own belief systems, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's called healthy communication. That's a healthy thing for everybody to have their own ideas and opinions on things. That's what makes the world go round. I had a T-shirt once that said "bullshit makes the world go round." Yeah, years and years ago, but it's true. Anybody can say anything they want to about anything because there's really no way to prove it. Just either way, these devices that we use, millimeters and K2s and things of that nature, they don't really detect ghosts. They detect disturbance in the environment in the EM field. It doesn't mean they're seeing a ghost. It just brings you to the attention that there might be something there, and maybe we'll do an EVP or something and see if we can capture something. That's how it actually works. And that's who I am. I'm a researcher, I'm a paranormal investigator. Um, if I'm being a big wet blanket, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be, but that's just who I am. Uh, do I believe in ghosts? Absolutely. I believe that they're ghosts, but I also believe that they're not the nice things that people make them out to be. I believe they are something that you want them to be. I believe they capitalize on that. And once they capitalize on that and you allow them to come into your life, that's when your life gets disrupted. My life was seriously disrupted. Look at a lot of the people out there that are involved with the paranormal on a scale of working with it every day. Maybe they own a building. Maybe they own a location or have managed a location and have or the tour guides of a location. Look at their lives. I have, and maybe it's just me, but their lives are pretty screwed up. I mean, seriously, injuries and illnesses and money problems and all kinds of stuff because they're involved, I believe, too deep, in too deep. And that's what happens to you, and it turns your life upside down. Again, that's just me. I got some X's from Colette. Thank you, Colette. Um, Angelina says spot on, Alan. Thank you for your again. Thank you. I love myself, debunking, etc. Yeah, everybody, we all agree to disagree on certain levels, and that's what makes this field so cool. You know, I'm very open to people who, we can agree to disagree, and we can leave the table being friends. That's what's important. That's at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's about not being mad at another individual and wanting to beat the hell out of them because they don't share the same opinions and views as you do. We're in this together as a unit, and everybody's opinion is valuable. And you take all of those opinions and you bring them together, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get an answer. That is what the paranormal is all about. So I'll leave you to chew on that, and maybe I'll talk to you in a week. Anyway, everybody have a great weekend. Be safe, be kind to one another, and have a great investigation. And be safe if you're going to be out there this weekend. Talk to you later.